Hello everybody, this is Mr. Laubach. Thank you for joining me in this video on the second party system. To start off with here, I have a map of what the United States looked like in 1830. So as you can see, the lighter shade of yellow are the northern states or the free states. The grayish states in the south, they are slave states. And then we have the 3630 Missouri Compromise line right here. Missouri, even though it's above that line, remember because of the Compromise of 1820, it was added as a slave state when Maine was added as a free state. This orange area is part of the Louisiana Purchase, considered unorganized territory, although it is property of the United States. And then you have the Arkansas Territory right here, and this is New Spain. And then this is the Oregon country, which is jointly occupied by the US and Great Britain. So the second party system, the Democratic and Republican Party, splits up. Remember, the first party system was the Federalists and the Democratic Republicans, or the Hamiltonians and the Jeffersonians. Then after the Federalists went away, after the War of 1812, it was Democratic Republican domination. Essentially one party in the US. So first, let's talk about the major issues of the time. So what was happening in the mid first half of the 1800s? So the big issues, the national bank and tariffs, internal improvements, who should pay for them? Should it be the federal government or should it be up to individual states or private entities? The issue of Western expansion. Should it happen quickly? Should it happen slowly? And then the debates over slavery. Should slavery expand as the United States expands? That's the big question. So when the Democratic Republican Party split, you had the formation of the Democrats. And the Democratic Party that was first formed is still around today, of course. It was formed in 1828. Some of the big names were Andrew Jackson and Martin Van Buren. The stances of the Democrats, they favored a smaller federal government. They had more of a Jeffersonian view on the role of the government. They did not like Henry Clay's American system, and they thought the Bank of the United States was too easily corrupted and favored Northeastern elites. The Democrats were also against the federal government addressing social and moral issues, like outlawing slavery, education for women, the temperance movement. They simply believed that the federal government should not get involved in those issues. They also favored rapid territorial expansion that many in the West and the South were in favor of. The strongholds for the Democratic Party at this point were in the West and the South and among urban workers. Many of the former Democratic Republicans gravitated towards the Democratic Party. And then later, in 1833, the Whigs Party was formed. Some of their big names were John Quincy Adams, Henry Clay, and Daniel Webster. The Whigs got their name after the British political party that was fighting against a king that they thought was too powerful. A large cause of their formation was that they were anti-Andrew Jackson. They actually called themselves the Anti-Jackson Party. They were more Hamiltonian nature. They favored a bigger, more expansive federal government. They supported Henry Clay's American system and the Bank of the United States to stabilize the economy. They tended to support the federal government addressing social and moral issues. They were against the rapid territorial expansion of the United States. They thought the U.S. already had plenty of territory, and they feared the expansion of slavery. They were strong in the West, in cities, and among wealthy elites and merchants in the Northeast. Many of the former Federalists gravitated towards the Whig Party. Now, how did the second party system end? The Democrats are still around today. The Whig Party in the mid-1850s broke apart over the issue of slavery and were eventually replaced by the anti-slavery expansion party, the Republican Party. Also important to note that there were some important minor political parties during this time: the Anti-Masonic Party and the Liberty Party. So as you can see, the second party system lasted approximately from 1828 and ended in the 1850s. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of the day.